Hello, everybody, and welcome to Weird Ventures. My name is Derek, and today we're going through Curse of Strahd. And I've got a lovely cast of characters with me today, as always. We're going to have each of them introduce themselves, starting off with Cosmic.
Oh God. Hello, I'm
Don't like
Cosmic.
people.
I'm currently playing
Huh.
Balthazar, the Asmargrave cleric of the party.
That you are. Sorry, Cosmic, it's because your character's name starts with a B and then an A. It's at the top of the list.
God,
I know.
bad choice, SMH.
That'll bring us down to Chris.
Hi, this is Chris. I am playing Binur, the Wise Alexodon Star Druid.
That you are. And next up, we'll go with RJ.
Hi, my name is RJ. I am playing Ina, the Halfling Enchantment Wizard.
Yes, yes. And next up will be Corey.
Hi, my name is Corey. I'll be playing Ophelia, the Triton Sorcerer Warlock.
Yes, those sweet multi-classes. Next up is Jennifer.
Hi, this is Jen. I'm playing Penny, Peanut, Posy, Poppy, Your Garden, Phantom Rogue, Forest Gnome.
Yes, yes. And last but not least, we've got Miguel.
Hi, Miguel. I'll be playing Porum, our resident fairy fighter cleric.
Yes, indeed. And with all the introductions out of the way, would any of you, my fine players, like to do a recap for some sweet, delicious inspiration?
Sure, why not? I'll go for it.
Go for it.
Bless, I'm not the one doing it anymore.
The torch has been passed.
Oh, yeah. So basically, last week, what had happened is the parties were still split between Ophelia, Balthazar, and Penny, and Ina, Binur, and Porum, both of whom still had a little bit of talks before they met in and ran into some 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 rough customers by the names of Sharwin and Silverin. Both parties engaged in combat, though Binur, Ina, and Porum tried to make it look, tried to put on some type of farce to fool them into thinking Binur was going to bite Ina because he tried to stick his hand in his mouth.
I
The
enjoyed
combat
it.
was the combat was a little rough going. It started off very well, and then all of a sudden, in our groups, Ophelia and Balthazar went down. Ophelia tried to invoke their patron and got teleported away into the mists to join the other group. And Penny was able to dispatch Sylvain by making a deal with the Nightcaller.
Yes.
And then basically after that had happened, the two parties converged and took care of Sharwin. And then afterwards, they had some moments to discuss about things that had happened in the mist. And what they had seen, and what about the two werewolves in the party. After taking the corpses of the two fallen and going through their burial rites, the parties split up a little bit again as they arrived to like the gates of Barovia, of what could be assumed to be Barovia, and Biner, Penny, and Balthazar went in, while Ophelia, Ina, and Porum stood out and again had more talks. Porum seemed to be in a bit of a funk afterwards, while Penny was just happy to get out and see some trees and grass. And
Gotta
then,
touch it.
yeah,
Finally able to touch grass.
touch grass.
Yeah.
And then pretty much it just ended after we all made a camp. Penny was able to help us find a great camping site. And Ophelia and Balthazar had a very strong heart to heart about some things.
Yes, some things and stuff. Absolutely.
Stuff and things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just nothing very important. Just
Uh,
kidding.
Heart to heart is a very soft way to call what was pretty much an interrogation.
a
But
sad
yeah,
to
I don't know.
sad.
I don't know
cheers.
about that. Oh, the other thing I just remembered is that Penny and Ophelia saw a shadowy creature.
Yes, a hooded
Um,
figure.
yes,
That you did.
but that brings us to now.
It does bring us to now. You did a lovely job recapping. Give yourself an inspiration. And, if you in the audience ever want to catch up on that stuff, please check us out on YouTube. We have everything recorded there so you can catch up as much as you like. And don't forget to like and subscribe. But yes, that is right around where we left off. With, in fact, one more crucial detail is as Ophelia and Balthazar are talking in Celestial off to the side, the rest of the group is making camp. And Biner, you glanced up to the cloudy sky, raining and storming above you. Luckily, the trees are keeping you from getting too soaked by any of the water falling down, but you notice that same greenish star, Zudon.
So he'll track it, and you said it was to the northwest. So
Yes.
he'll kind of look up and without glancing, he'll just kind of start talking to Ina and basically say, Ina, I think we should follow that green glow up there. I think that's a star that we should track, and maybe it'll lead us to civilization here, and we can get our bearings and figure out how to return home. Or it will lead us to the chosen one, maybe, and we'll have to bring gifts or something. But either way, I think we should follow it.
You want to follow a star, which I can understand to locate our direction, but it might lead to a god.
Well, it's on. It's the same. I believe it's the same star that's on my new star map, and I just feel that there's a connection somewhere. And even if it leads us to a god, maybe the god can help us get out of here. I mean, it could be my god. Hopefully, it's my god. But either way, I think it at least gives us some way to keep our bearings in this place.
And I was just gonna look up at to point to where Biner pointed out to see the green star, and then kind of glance over to the direction of Ophelia and Balthazar and look back to Biner and was like, isn't that the star that's on Ophelia's neck?
That is correct. And that's
Your
why I
god
think
too?
Well, I'm not saying it's my god. It's not my god, but my god is she, is the goddess of stars. So I don't know if that it'll be connected that way. I don't believe it's one and the same.
All right. Either way, we need a rest for the night. We can keep track of it. Keep it on our left shoulder. I think that's how you track.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got it pretty well mapped out in my head, at least where it's kind of the direction. So when the sun comes up tomorrow and hopefully the rain stops, we can at least head in that direction. And then as night falls, we can just make sure we're still on the same bearing.
the star is the star on your star map. That would help us, because your star map has a bunch of the stars in the area, correct? Besides just that one?
Well, yes, the new star map, not
The
Not-
new star map that you picked up didn't match any of the stars
right.
from the plane y'all came from, the material plane, but you haven't gotten to see all the stars here yet. It's too cloudy up above.
Right. So he's just more gauging because he's saying it's on the new star map, but not necessarily on the old, because he can't combine the two maps yet. He can't figure out how they intertwine, which is confusing to him as the time being. But it's at least on an ancient star map that we found in the Citadel. So it has to have some significance to it outside of just being on Ophelia's neck.
Right. Well, we're in a new place. Doesn't hurt to just, I guess, wander around. Not that we would be wandering, we'd be following your, just gonna go back to that book. That's a great idea, Biner.
And I'm sorry I might have scared you earlier, if I did.
Wasn't... Well, no, I was terrified. You were smart to lock up the limbs, but... Yeah, no, that was terrifying. I'm gonna have nightmares.
I'm truly sorry. I'm trying to control it as best I can. It's still kind of in there wanting out, but right now I have control, so I think we'll be okay, but it's definitely going to be a battle. It's hopefully that is not too tiring.
Being terrified of somebody doesn't mean you trust them. Doesn't mean that you don't trust them. Sorry, worse. I trusted you enough to stick, my hand in your mouth, knowing that there could be consequences. And, you exceeded.
Yeah, I appreciate that you showed that trust. But just know that if it comes out again, it's not necessarily because I want it to. And again, as I said before, and Penny's already agreed to it, if it gets too bad, do what you must.
And is just gonna close the spell book and put it away and just kind of look over to Biner and Penny and Porum, just like, just kind of frown. It's like, I don't believe you're Fargran, even if you can't control it. There's always other ways than putting down someone. Like staring into your soul, pretty much. That helped.
Yeah, I bet you that was a scary sight.
You calm down.
Yeah, but looking into my soul of so many years, who knows what you saw in there.
Your sparkling personality, Biner.
He just lets out a chuckle. Well, now I know you're lying, but but yeah, and again, I mean, if worst comes to worst, is what I'm trying to say. If that doesn't work and someone's life is in peril because of me, whatever you do to take me out one way or the other, with full death or unconscious, I will completely understand.
I
Look,
do
I
have spells that could help, but I won't,
Right.
kill you.
And just remember, I mean, I've had a good life too, so it's not like I'm a young chicken that has many years to go. I mean, I'm not like Penny, who has many, many, many more years to explore the world. So, so again, my faith will be what it needs to be. So don't ever feel guilty if it ever comes to that. That's all I'm trying to say.
I got you. I'll let Penny stab you.
Okay.
She's quicker than I am.
She does nasty stuff, doesn't she?
Yeah, I would not want to be caught in a back alley with Penny.
Yeah, it is true. As long as, yeah. But she's a good kid at heart.
I don't think she qualifies as a kid anymore. She's just young.
To me, she's still a kid. Yes, I know. I know she's probably considered a young adult in her race, but she's still a kid compared to me.
Maybe.
That's true.
I'll let you get back to your spell book there.
As you say that, oh, sorry, was I cutting you off, RJ?
No.
Okay. As you say that, speaking of Penny, what are Penny and Porum getting up to? First time camping on the wilderness in probably about a week, considering how long y'all were in the Citadel. Fresh air, non-misty. What are the two of you getting up to?
Penny's just, well, she's tired. She's sore. She's happy that she's out in some kind of forest. And she's just looking around and listening and trying to hear what's going on around her. Thought she heard her name a few times, but didn't want to interrupt a conversation, so just kind of ignored it for now.
Mm-hmm. Ears perking up a bit. Yeah. As you're keeping an ear out on your surroundings, feel free to roll me a perception. While you do that, Porum, what are you getting up to?
Porum will just be what's the word I'm looking for? I guess summarizing what happened with Biner, since the last time Penny and Porum were talking in chat, Penny asked what happened with Biner, and vice versa. So just filling Penny in.
Okay. Well, if you'll have any other specific questions that you'd like to ask each other, if you want to roleplay that out, this is a perfect time to do it.
Something. I guess when Ophelia and Balthazar will eventually return to the fire and everyone's kind of settling but hasn't spoken about doing watches yet. Does anyone have any stories from their cultures? We're all from different backgrounds. Something to...
Like campfire stories?
Yeah, something to lighten the mood.
None that I can think of right now. Binary, you've been around a long, long time. I'm sure you've got some stories.
It's kind of a jab there, Penny.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. I'm sorry, Binur. I'm not saying you're old.
Yes, she is.
I am old.
See, Porum, he knows he's old. He doesn't care if I point that.
Well, I mean, you guys all saw me ride a bird Have you ever seen a elephant ride a giant lizard?
What?
Yes, I for many years I stayed with lizard folk. Right after I left my village, and um, they accepted me in, and they shared their stories and history of the stars, and I gave them mine, and we became good friends. And the lizard folks rode large giant lizards to hunt, and one day they convinced me to try to ride one of the beasts, and it was an interesting experience. I mean, I got up on it, and it took off. And I don't know if you've ever seen like a human on a horse that doesn't know how to ride a horse. Well, that was me. And after probably about 10, 15 feet of bouncing, I went flying backwards and rolled back off the tail and onto the ground. And that was my last experience, but at least I tried.
You didn't get back on the lizard?
No, I don't think the lizard liked the weight that was on it, but it was a friendly lizard. His name was Sam. They didn't come up with very fancy names, but his name was Sam.
Sam, I am.
Sam's a lizard.
And I would take care of him and stuff. I was there, and I'd go on the hunts with them. I just wouldn't ride any of the beasts, but it was definitely a neat cultural experience. Anybody else want to share?
Sounds like you've been all over the world.
I have. Maybe I'll give you a different place at different nights. But I've been with villages with lizard folks. I've stayed times with the elves. I've been in major human kingdoms as part of courts. I've been in little tiny villages where, there's an old hag type lady, that everyone, wise woman, but more was a hag than anything else. But that's a different story. But yeah, I've been to many places. One time was on a ship. It's interesting. The rocking didn't make me too happy. Well, but that'll be another story another night. But yeah, Penny, I've been all over.
Did you see any tritons?
No, Ophelia is the first,
Wow.
but I've seen many others. Good things and bad things. Experienced good things in life and bad things in life. But I do miss the old village.
I'm sure we're all missing home.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I really don't have one anymore, so. But still can miss it. But enough of me.
Wherever you are, Viner.
I'm sorry?
Home's wherever you are.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. But it is nice to know where you can go to a certain place and everybody knows your name and you can have a drink.
Fictional cheers.
I love it.
So, what do you think those two, as she points over towards where Ophelia and Balthazar are, what do you think those two are up to over there?
Probably planning to sacrifice us to the gods.
No one's sacrificing me to anybody. I'll do the sacrificing.
Don't worry. I don't think you're sacrificing anybody, Penny.
I don't think anyone could pull one over on you, Penny, to sacrifice you to something.
Well, they just seem to have been over there for a long time. I hope everything's okay.
You're probably just catching up. It's been a while since we've all been together.
Speaking of all of us. Where's Urki and Calcerix? Has anybody seen Urki and Calcerix since we last saw them? Do you think they ended up in the mist?
Now that you mention it, I didn't run across them in the mist at all.
Neither did I. I really miss my dragon.
Aw.
I'm sure they'll show up.
Signor, did you
eventually.
see them?
Did not.
I'm
I
sure
hope
they're
they're
somewhere.
okay. Well, hopefully they're together, and hopefully they're safe.
Or maybe they just got lucky and didn't get ported here. And maybe they're safe back at the cathedral.
I hope we get to see them again one day.
We shall see.
Some Biners lived an interesting life. Penny, you said you don't really have stories to tell. Forum, where'd you grow up? You,
I grew up in a smallish village. I don't really know where it would be from here, but kind of grew up there. Grew up in in the church like most religious folk. I'm pretty sure Balthazar might have a similar situation, if I am to assume. But that's all I really knew for the vast majority of my life. I didn't really travel. Kind of just stayed where I grew up.
you weren't told any stories of people traveling through?
I mean, people would travel through. We have like merchants or maybe a caravan here or two of travelers, but I mean, we were kind of a out of the way town, so they mostly just stopped in for the night and then would continue on their way. There wasn't much. We weren't like a city or anything. There wasn't much for us to do besides, chase livestock, go fishing, maybe spend some time exploring the woods nearby. Um,
Sounds a lot like how I grew up.
yeah. I mean, the only difference with that would be that we had a bit of a monster problem sometimes, so it was our duty as a church to protect everybody.
Like werewolves?
Poor just kind of shudders a little bit and kind of like pulls into himself and is like, yeah.
What other kind of monsters?
We have werewolves. We'd sometimes have other lycanthropes, werebears were kind of not common, but they were there.
So you know a lot about them?
I know enough.
Well, we have two now in our party, and I don't know anything about them. So, like, what do you know? How often do they change?
Insight check. Go ahead and make that then, RJ.
Damn it.
Yikes!
Let me roll.
One more. We need one more 6 and we can summon the devil.
I'm not deceiving. Porum knows like the basic understanding of lycanthropy. I mean, I ooh, what was that?
I was just saying the full moon.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they're affected by a full moon. Usually, it's spread through open wounds, so like through a bite. Sometimes a claw mark can even spread it, but mostly it's through biting. But not. It's not always certain. if it's like claw marks, it's like 50-50 shot. If it's bite mark, that's when it's like almost 100% sure.
So
Go ahead.
is there a cure? Do you know?
Horn starts to look a little bit more comfortable with each question. I mean, I guess there could be a cure, hypothetically.
Like to roll a religion for me, Porum.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Do I know? Religion. Here. Come on. Is it 6?
Yay.
All right.
Oh, damn.
No.
So that is high enough to know a little bit. You know that someone with enough magical prowess could attempt a spell to magically cure a werewolf. But you also know that there are certain conditions that can complicate the process. But those conditions aren't coming to mind immediately.
Okay. So just for clarification, Derek, like I wouldn't know, like, the more you transform, the harder it is, type of thing to be cured.
You know, because you asked me that, I will say that yes, you do know. The more you transform, usually the tighter the binding between man and beast is. But you also know that there's a bit more to it than that,
Okay.
and you're not entirely sure what that is with 13.
Okay. I mean, I guess if a magic user's strong enough, they could theoretically get rid of lycanthropy. But I remember reading that the more you transform, the more you start to bond with the beast, and eventually the beast becomes too powerful, and reversing it is harder. That's like the baseline of it. There's more, but I can't recall it.
So, other than Binur, have you had any other friends that have been afflicted with this?
Porum stays quiet for a bit and just stares at the floor.
I'm sorry. Am I upsetting you? Because I don't mean to. I just don't know that much about them. And I just kind of want to know what to expect with these two. I saw how Ophelia was towards us. I don't know about Binur, but I kind of need or would like to know as much as possible so I can prepare myself for what to expect when it happens again, if it happens again.
No, you're fine, Penny. It's okay. Well, I guess now is as good a time as any to talk about it. So, a couple years ago, back when I was still, I guess you could say, a fledgling, a student, I was still a novice in the field of, religion and our church, which is, I guess, monster hunting crew, I guess you can call it. I had a really, really good commander. She was strict and she was tough, but she always pushed me and always had my best intentions at heart. But one day, during a field exercise, one of her brigades were attacked by a werewolf, and luckily they were able to defeat it. One person, I mean, there were injuries, but one person had direct injury. They had direct contact through a claw mark. We, did our basic inspection. We didn't think that they would carry lycanthropy in them. It didn't seem like it. But, I mean, we were wrong. We had livestock start disappearing, train up, contorted and mutilated. So we knew that there was another werewolf out there somewhere. We sent search parties out. We didn't find anything to note, really. We found, marks, but nothing to indicate a lodging. And about 2 weeks passed. Actually, it might have been more time than that. It's kind of all blurry. But some time had passed. And the bells rang. There was sighting of another monster. And we were sure that it was this werewolf that we were tracking. And like any other call to action, my commander went out with some of her brigade to put this trouble to rest. And then she never came back. The rest of her party, they came back brutalized, mostly. A lot of broken arms, bones sticking out of legs. It was definitely a tough battle for what it looked like. And they brought her back in a body bag. And then the decapitated head of the werewolf.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry that it happened.
It's okay. Porum kind of just wipes a couple of tears that were forming from his eyes. I've gotten my closure from it now. She was actually someone I saw in the mist, and as much as it hurt to see her in that state again, with how grievous her wounds were, it was nice to talk to her at least and get some of my confidence back. But
So seeing your other friend turn kind of was triggering for you, huh?
yeah, seeing Binir in that state definitely brought back some memories that did not want to have to face again. But, I mean, at least to my knowledge, it's something that's really hard to fight off once you get it. And it's only a matter of time. And the best way that we've been known to get rid of lycanthropy is just kill the host.
Have you ever encountered one of them that hasn't been completely taken over and completely lost to being a werewolf or werebear, whatever? Like, is there a chance that that Binor and Ophelia could live with it and not hurt or kill?
I help you out a little here, Migs, if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Since you had mentioned werebears, that is actually something that we'll bring up. Werebears are generally not as aggressive and violent as werewolves are. Some of them do live peacefully with their hosts. So if you have met one, you would at the very least know that not all lycanthropy causes one to be that way necessarily by default.
Okay. It's different with each strain of lycanthropy. For the werebears that we did see, they were mostly they were mostly, they're not always violent, but the ones we dealt with were obviously the violent ones. They kind of, succumb to more of their primal instincts. But from what I remember, werebears are usually as aggressive. But werewolves, on the other hand, those are pretty aggressive. And
So-
yes.
So you've never encountered a loxodon that's been bitten or a triton that's been bitten.
No.
So we
I
don't know.
There's a chance. I'm not too familiar with the physiology of both races as much as I am with humans and elves and gnomes and stuff like that. But
So
yes,
I didn't get to see Binor when he changed. How was he? What was he like?
he was scary. He grew a lot more hair.
Yeah, I can understand that. Ophelia was scary like that too, but she was mean. She was saying things. She was not nice. She was saying things that she wouldn't normally say, at least when she's her normal self.
Binder wasn't innately hostile, I would say. I mean, he tried to entrap me and successfully entrapped Aina in some vines. But
Didn't hit us till we hit him.
Yeah, he mostly talked about wanting to create a new tribe. And he seemed like all he wanted to do was just spread, not fight, but just, do what he needed to do to create a new tribe. So, the complete
Ophelia was the same way. She just wanted to bite, but she said mean things. She was not nice, but she was the same way. She just wanted to bite us and make us part of her pack, I guess. But it sounds like their personalities were completely opposite.
It's not uncommon. Lycanthropy affects people differently. Some come more aggressive. Some still keep some semblance of their old personality, but they're a werewolf and they want to do werewolf things.
So Derek,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Derek, real quick. The red moon, was it a full moon? Was it a full red moon?
A full red moon.
Okay.
Derek.
Yeah.
What should I make a religion check to see if the full red moon had an effect differently than a normal full moon?
Sure.
Okay.
Make a religion roll for that.
I wasn't sure how to ask that question.
Yeah.
Religion.
All right.
Ooh.
Well,
Ooh.
you'll know a couple of things. First thing to start off with is since you were in the mist, you know for a fact that no matter what a normal moon would do, no matter what a normal full red moon would do, that was not a normal moon under any circumstances. That was something created in the mist, which, as you've experienced firsthand, has simply different properties than anything in a place physical like where you are now. So it's hard to apply the same logic, but you can assume it definitely had a magical effect on them. But because you got a crit, you would know that a red moon in particular can mean a couple of things. If it is one magically brought about, like if, there's some wizard out in the world doing a ritual to tinge the moon red and all the stars align and all of those sorts of things, it can make it to where even somebody who has control or a little bit more control of their lycanthropy, like a werebear or something like that, would still be much more hostile and still struggle for control, even at that instance. If it is, of a more natural effect, you'd know that that means essentially it's almost like for, normal creatures would have a mating season to propagate their species. For werewolves, they can propagate their species by biting people. So a red moon is time to go out, time to bite and make more werewolves.
Gotcha.
Yes. And I'll give you bonus lore. A blue moon is one of the rare full moons where a person who has lycanthropy can sort of live side by side with the beast within them and control it, even though it is a full moon up, if it is a full blue moon.
Good to know, good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, what was your original question again?
I don't remember.
Oh no.
I gave too much lore. Well, as y'all are sitting there,
By lusty moon.
We
yeah,
were just talking. We were just talking about them changing and what happens.
To-
Like they could all be different.
You asked what Binur was like.
Like
That's your
right.
question.
That was what my
Oh, okay.
question was. But I was leading into whether I was going to ask about the red moon, because I noticed that in the mist it was a red full moon. If there was a difference between a red full moon and a regular full moon, and what do we need to look out for something? Like what the meanings were is where I was going to go with that.
Okay. I remember where we were.
Well,
Go ahead.
I just want to, sitting back, Binur's hearing all this, and he knows it's kind of tense and stuff, so he finally just kind of speaks up and just says, well, hearing what Penny said, it sounds like Ophelia was a little fishier as a werewolf than I was.
and
then he kind of slaps his knee and starts lives out kind of a laugh and trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
perfect timing to hear this joke. We'll have this be when Ophelia and Balthazar return. So Ophelia, you get to hear that wonderful joke.
Oh Jesus.
You did not just slap your knee like an old man, Pioneer.
Yes, I did. Hey, look what the werewolf dragged back.
Binur, you're not funny anymore.
What?
think it was kind of fun.
Well, I'm sorry, Binor. I wasn't trying to keep a conversation from you. I just was asking some questions with Porum, and since I didn't see you, I wanted to get his understanding of what happened or what you were like.
I was nice and friendly, just didn't want to run away, and then they just beat me to death. And so, like just beat me like an old man or something. It was horrible.
But if you were like Ophelia and you wanted to bite us, remember that's scary for us. We might not want that. Put your No, but I understand.
So I understand.
Huh.
I just want to know, Binor, do you want to be cured from it? Is it something that you would want to be cured of? Same with Ophelia. Would you want to be cured from it? Because
They've
if
only
you
had
don't
one
want,
transformation. They don't even know about their new condition that much.
I know, but
I think I do. I mean, Ina makes a good point that maybe it'll add some years to me or give me more strength. Maybe I can finally toss Ina.
I'm not getting back in your trunk for a while.
That's okay, Ina. I totally understand. That was embarrassing.
I understand you only changed one time, but that would give us somewhat of an indication, or you an indication of what type of personality you might have. Now, I understand if the Red Moon is special and I don't know what that did or difference it makes, but you still would have a sense of whether that would be something that you think you could live with or not. That's all I want to understand from you. I don't care what you choose, but just know that if you get out of control and we cannot control you and you're going to harm us, Binor, I'm not going to hold back.
Already confirmed that that's okay with you.
And it's not because I don't love you. It's because I do love you.
And that's why I like you. Because I know I'd be coming from love and not hate. And he glances over at Porum.
Not hate, it's more self-preservation.
But I'm good. The party's come. Let's get off this subject for now, if you guys don't mind.
I mean, I asked for stories to lighten the mood, not to bring sadness and destruction.
Well, let's get back to that. So, what's something you could tell us about you, Ina?
Yeah, you must have stories then.
I guess I'll tell you about the moons later.
No one cares about the moons.
That's fine. That's fine.
Moon only pretty.
Penny's gonna lean over to Porum and whisper in his ear, "You know, Binor can be such a grumpy old man. Let's just humor him for now. You can tell me all about the moons later."
Yeah.
Porum just lets outside the feet. That's fine.
So, Ina, what's your story?
Well, I live in a story-based society, so you're gonna have to be more specific.
What's something you'd like to tell us that we would not believe would actually happened, or
What
any-
what kind of stories would you tell if you were sitting around at a camp with your friends and family?
Ina, tell us about the worst date you've ever been on.
What?
Oh no.
I think that's a great
I don't
conversation.
know that that's a campfire story I want to hear.
How about we all go around and say the worst date we've ever been on?
the what that we've been on?
The worst date we've ever been on? I haven't been on any dates. I don't care.
I haven't
About
either.
that.
That's why I'm asking this question. I'm curious about everyone else.
We'll have to look to all the old people for that
my
information.
Jesus.
Exactly.
Balthazar kind of shifts as he's sitting down, like,
I I have a few stories I could share with you. I don't necessarily feel comfortable talking to you about my love life at this point in time.
You don't have
Or
to go
lack
into
of.
details.
yet.
What was that?
I said we're not that close yet.
Hmm. What did Pork say?
I was gonna say you don't have to go into details about the day. Just be like, oh, I got stood up at a Jack in the Box or something.
I got stood up by the combination Taco Bell and Pizza Hut.
But
The Taco Bell Long John Silver's combo. I do have a story. We do talk to, we tell the newcomers into our tribe. It's not particularly happy in a sense.
Well, let's hear it.
Oh, God. So, Biner pointed out to you of my necklace constellation of the Wendigo that we follow in our to get to other tribe mates. Yes?
Yeah.
There's a story of how the Wendigo got into the sky. It's kind of like, I guess, say, a tribe creation story of how we came to be in a sense. But after all, it's a legend at this point. It's been told through multiple tribes, and information kind of gets convoluted a little bit. So I don't even know if it's the correct tribe story. It's just the one we tell in ours. My tribe was started by halflings mostly. They're a specific subrace of halfling called the Ghostwise. And one of the things that Ghostwise halflings stand out for is the ability to talk to others in their mind, even though they can't hear them back. Just kind of like a Marco Polo thing, if that's the right words for it. Because not everyone likes that violation of the mind, and we're naturally, I guess, peacekeeping in a sense. We aren't prone to violence or really wanting violence. Just kind of want to stick on our own. A few people ended up getting outcasted, and back in the old days before oligarchies and theocracies and such, people lived in clans and tribes and like very small village towns. So being outcasted, pretty much a death sentence because of the wild. But the people of the tribe went out into the world and they learned from nature. And nature taught them how to utilize and cultivate them with magic and just the lay of the land. They had years by themselves, just living off the land and being happy. The tribe grew, and soon people started branching out, wanting to bring their way of life to others. Like what do they call them? Missionaries. So missionaries went out, and sometimes they came back, a lot of times they didn't. And as the tribes grew, and more people went out to spread word, the core elders of the tribe stayed. And one year was particularly worse than others. The winter was very harsh, and people talked about leaving the tribe and going back to the land that they were from. no longer trusting the land to provide. And you know how cold winters can be. You start to lose sight of a general happiness, or I guess the flow of food kind of affects the mind more and more. And with people leaving, and it was just small collect few, someone came up with a bright idea after someone fell ill and died. Well, food is food, and when you're hungry, you have to eat. And eating people, cannibalism such as that, creates this hunger in you where you're just starving. You only want to eat more. And soon, there was no one left but one. And that lone survivor was twisted when they came across a reflection in ice of themselves. Their limbs were sinewy and long, their cloak and clothing all ragged, barely hanging off their anemic body. They didn't look like a halfling anymore. They looked like something else. And as they stared at themselves horrified, they cried out in despair and cry for the crimes they committed against themselves, what they set out to do, and the others. And as they were crying, a lone missionary came back out through the woods and saw them. But something else also saw them. It was the moon and the stars, moved by the screaming and the atrocities that they committed. And they took pity. And they casted them into the night sky to try and guide others away from a fate like their own. And that missionary went on to tell the story and how the tribe came to be, fell apart, and they vowed to be better. And they rised from that spot. They always like to put in a legend of if you suffer enough, or if you commit something wrong and then you repent, maybe the stars will have mercy on you too. It's not a particularly happy story, but it's a fun legend.
It's definitely different from what most people say they came from.
And I guess my vision, or my definition of fun is different than yours. I don't think it's a fun story.
That's completely fair, Penny. I don't blame you. That's what we tell new recruits too, so it's amazing that they stay, honestly.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's like your retention level like 5% or something.
I mean, I feel like they're already there at that point. They're like, oh fuck, these people are gonna eat us, we can't leave. Nah, they're fine. Our retention rate's pretty good. It's just like one of those. We even start out saying that it's, legends get twisted. It's probably not even the correct thing. Who knows?
Well, I was gonna say it looks like it's getting dark and late. Maybe we should start to wind down for bed, but now it doesn't seem so dark outside anymore. Look, this big cloud that went by.
It got all dark and rumbly there for a little bit.
Very spooks.
What about
Well, so
you
far,
two?
So far, I've told a story of me and riding a giant lizard. Then we followed that up with the horror story of poor Porum's family, and then we hear about you eating people. Not you directly, but your people eating people. This is a fun campfire. Ophelia, do you have anything to add that can just throw more fire onto this?
Fire.
Flame to the fire, you mean?
I have a
Fuel to the
dumpster
fire,
fire.
perhaps?
Field.
Silver fire.
Unfortunately, I don't have anything else I'd like to add.
Other than
From a weird
Yes,
spot.
sparkling tasty.
Yeah. You're from
Any
the ocean.
visions?
So are you two done making out then? We can talk about shifts tonight.
Or what we should do from
We're
here.
doing no such thing. But if you mean night shifts, that might be useful.
That it might.
And then tomorrow we'll head out.
Yeah. Ina and I were talking. I think we should head that direction, and hopefully we can find some peaceful.
Which direction, Vayner? I'm not sure I know what direction you mean.
He points to the northwest
Why that way?
star that's over that direction. That similar to the star or same star that's on Ophelia's neck there.
And we're going to trust this star?
I'm using it for guidance. I'm not
Okay.
saying we need to go directly to the star, but it gives us something. I mean, everything else, it's cloudy, rainy. But again, maybe when daylight breaks tomorrow, things will look a little nicer and we can find a path that leads us somewhere. So we don't have to necessarily follow it, but I think at least we could follow it. Gives us something to follow.
That it does.
Better than wandering blind like we did in the mists, at least.
Yes, don't want to do that again.
All right. Well, Penny, you were saying you were tired.
I've
So-
been tired for
so
days.
lead the watch, or do you want to take first watch?
We'll have 3
I'll take
watches.
first. 3 watches?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 for each of us.
I could take first watch with Penny.
Okay.
Unless anyone has any objections.
Did you want to take first watch, Penny? If you mentioned you were tired.
If you take
Yeah,
first watch, though, the
never
last
mind,
2 watches
Penny.
are consecutive. So
But
that's
I'm-
smart.
I'm awake right now, and I'm afraid once I fall asleep, you're not going to be able to wake me up for a watch. So I probably should sit up first. So I will take first watch.
All right.
And whoever else wants to. All right. So Porum, you and I, we're going to take watch.
Tell you
Sounds
about the
good.
You can tell me all about the moons.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll take a second watch.
Anyone like to take second watch with Ina?
I think I might join you.
Right.
All right, then I'm on third.
I don't know. Wait, guys. Is it smart to put the 2 werewolves together?
Penny, they're still them.
They're gonna plot.
If they
we
kill
were
us in
going-
our sleep, at least
Wait.
we'll be sleeping.
Wait, Derek, what's the moon phase right now?
You can't see the moon.
Oh no!
So we don't know
It will
what's
be
the moon.
fine.
It's been too
We don't have
cloudy.
the true.
They'll have stuff heading up into morning, so it's probably the safest watch for them, if that's what you're worried about.
It's true.
All right. If you guys are all right with it, I'm okay with it.
Derek!
What did Derek do?
Group name for watch 3.
You love to see it. All right. So, in that case, is it safe to say it is time for the watches?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to return us back to my mood lighting for the spooky stories.
Spooky, scary skeleton.
And I'm going to move everybody who is not on watch to one of these tents.
Wasn't meant to be spooky. I just suck at storytelling.
No, it was a good point for spooky lighting. I wanted to enhance the mood. But yeah, everybody starts getting themselves settled for the evening, which means that we'll have Porum and Penny taking watch tonight. The two of you can make me a perception roll, and if you don't have dark vision, you'll be rolling this at disadvantage.
So I have dark vision.
I don't think I do.
Then yes, it will be a disadvantage. It won't be at advantage, it'll be normal.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. We'll use the first one, which was your 15.
It was. Yeah.
So you're good.
Oh. Okay, okay.
Don't need to roll again.
Sorry, I jumped the gun on that
Wow.
roll.
Derek, can I give him the torch? I assume I still have the torch with me.
Oh yeah,
The green torch.
Yeah, so can I just give whoever's doing watch the torch?
absolutely. Y'all have the torch, which will help. But this perception roll is going to be for something outside of the torch's fiery area. Because yeah, the fire is a little bit more fiery than the torch is, so it's illuminating pretty good. But it's viewing out between the trees.
But we'll take the torch anyway. We'll just keep it, and the next group to take watch can take the torch, and so
Yeah.
on and so forth.
Absolutely. Yes,
Thanks, Minor. Have a good rest.
Penny, with your 15, as you stare between branches with Porum next to you, you see something shadowy in the distance. It's a moon. You're being mooned. Porum warned you about that. No. I'll let you know what you learn about the 15 as the watch goes on. For now, what are the two of you getting up to during your watch? You know, you resting against that big tree and having a chat, I can assume?
Yeah, Porum's just gonna start making a little flower crown for Penny again while he's telling her about the moons.
Thank you, Porum. I wish I knew how to do that. I
I
would
can
make
always-
all kinds of stuff.
I could always show you. It's not that hard once you get to know how to do it.
You think I could learn something like that? I'm just a little lowly gnome.
Penny, you can pick locks. You can do more things that I could do. Trust me, you can learn how to do this.
I'll have to remember that. So maybe someday, maybe someday later when it's a little quieter and things calm down, you can teach me how to do that. Unless it's going to come in handy. Then you probably should teach me sooner than later.
I mean, unless you want to make more friends, that's a great gift to give people, but I don't really see a...
Friends are overrated. You guys are enough. You guys are enough friends for me.
Well, thanks, I guess. But you wanted to know about the moon phases, right?
I did. I just kind of want to prepare myself for as much as I can for what we might see and hear.
Of course. So to start with the red moon that we encountered earlier, the one in the mist was a lot different than something that you would normally see, I guess, in nature. That's just the nature, for the lack of a better word, of the mist. It was different. typically with red moons, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek,
Yeah.
attention span of a squirrel. Usually with red moons, that's when beast tribes become a little bit more aggressive. Is when we see a lot more aggressive behavior in lycanthropes, even in lycanthropes who usually aren't as aggressive. So that could have explained as well why Biner and especially Ophelia was so aggressive towards you. Yes, they get bitey. Another, of course, phase is of just a normal full moon, and that's the time when the veil between mortal consciousness and the beast's consciousness is thinned, and that's when the beast can take control. And then something that's usually a lot more rare is a blue moon, actually. And what we've noticed with a blue moon is the host and the beast conscious actually can coincide together, and the beast can actually be controlled by the host a lot easier than during a full moon or even a blood full moon. So
You're so smart. How'd you learn all of that? How'd you learn all of this?
Mostly from books and then the teachings at my church. I mean, we deal with lycanthropes and other monsters a lot, especially at a small village or easy pickings. So we gotta stay informed. Knowledge is the best power.
Well, I guess I've been lucky. We haven't encountered too many monsters. Or I haven't until now. The last week or however long we've been together, I've seen more things than I have my entire life.
You know what? I will admit, I will agree with you on that one. There's definitely some things that I would never have imagined I'd have to fight.
Yeah. Well, I never thought I'd ever meet a Triton, much less a one that has lycanthropy.
That's a peculiar combination, isn't it? It's not every day you see a lycanthrope.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with werewolf lycanthropy, I guess maybe if it even exists, like a were shark or something. I don't even know if those things exist.
I don't know. Good question to ask Ophelia later if she knows, but if she'll talk to me, I don't know. She's pretty mad at me.
I mean, I could talk to her for you as long as you talk to Biner for me, because he's pretty mad at me.
Sure, I can talk to Binor, but I'll probably need to talk to Ophelia at some point. I just don't know. She just said some things, and I know she wasn't herself, but part of me... Well, she just called me gluttonous and selfish, and I know I can be that way, but I'm still young, I'm learning, I make mistakes, but I didn't think she had to be so mean about it, and I understand she wasn't herself, but part of her really must feel that way about me, and it hurts my feelings because I thought we would be friends, especially being the only two females in this party. I thought we would be good friends.
It's a bit of a sausage fest. But
Anyway.
I mean, I'm really sorry that Ophelia called you those names. I don't think of you that way at all, if that is any reassurance. But
well, it's not that I haven't been called that before, because I know I can be selfish. It's just that I didn't think she felt that way, and it just makes me rethink everything about what I thought about her. And I just don't know what to do with that right now. And so I'm still a little hurt, and I'm trying to get over it, but it's going to take a little bit.
I understand. If it's makes me feel any better, sometimes even the smallest of smallest of passing thoughts. Even if Ophelia doesn't truly mean that and just thought that like in a moment, sometimes lycanthropy can increase that tenfold in the change of personality.
I didn't
So
think about it. I didn't think about it that way. That's a
yeah,
good point.
so
I
maybe
just thought
go ahead, or Penny.
I just I I didn't think about it in that way. I would just thought maybe she thought like that all the time. But you're saying maybe that was a thought that kind of like flitted through her mind at one point, and because she changed, it just made that one thing stand out more.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a possibility. Like I said, usually with lycanthropy, especially with werewolf lycanthropy, you tend to get more aggressive, and I mean, she thinks you're gluttonous, and selfish. That's pretty aggressive thinking, and even if it was just a passing thought, it could have, you know, been used by the beast. Remember, they share a consciousness now, so whatever she has in her mind, that deep down there, the beast will use to hurt anybody around her.
Well, thank you for putting it that way to me, because that thought didn't occur. So gives me some other things to think about. And I guess, you're not mad at Binur. I don't think Binur understands or understood where you're coming from. I don't know if he's really mad at you. I think he just doesn't understand. And it might be helpful for you at some point to apologize, just like it should be. I should apologize to Ophelia.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not like I want to kill him. I don't
I don't
enjoy
want
having to kill my friends, but
No.
it's self-preservation at some point. If he's coming at, I mean, he came at me and Ida. I didn't know what he
Right.
was going to do. Like, first
I
thing I
know.
thought to do was to shoot.
I know. I did the same thing. I stabbed Ophelia, for God's sakes. I didn't want to kill her or hurt her, but I understand. But I don't know. I don't think they understand either. I think they're just, I don't know. Binur is different. I don't know.
Yeah, it might just be like a cultural misunderstanding, or like maybe just just like you said, like communication misunderstanding. Like again, I don't want to kill him, but if push comes to shove, and it's me over him, or one of you guys over him, he can't control the beast. Like I have to do what I have to do.
Exactly. Well, at least we're in agreement. We understand each other. We'll at some point get the other ones on board. Well, I think Binur's on board. He understands, I think. The other three, well, that's another story.
Aina would definitely be the hardest to get on board with that mentality. Aina believes that even if they are, I mean, I've seen it firsthand when Biner was in beast mode, for a lack of a better term, Aina was able to pull him out of it. So
I understand, and if that's a possibility, that's great. But if that's not, if it's not, I mean, what would she do if she could not bring him back? And I'm sorry, Aina was on the verge of like death. Are they gonna not defend themselves? That's I'm not saying I'm just gonna, the next time they turn, I'm gonna kill them.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying too. Like, we're not gonna kill them the next time. It's like, if you can't come back, on the point of not coming back, it's us or them. But
Yeah,
it's just a tricky situation, and again, Aina sees it from a different perspective, and I don't know, maybe they can elaborate more about that perspective, but as of right now, I don't see how that would work.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, Penny, it's around this time that your ear twitches. Because this forest has been much quieter than any forest you're used to. There haven't been any sights of any animals or anything, but you do hear the rustling of something small flitting from a tree and landing in the shadows just outside of what you can see.
Aram, do you see that? Do you hear that?
See what? I don't see anything. I can't really see in the dark.
Yeah, it's outside the fire line, so... Because it is more than
What
60
do you
feet
know
away.
I see, Penny?
Yeah.
Over there. Don't you see that outline? I heard some, like, fluttering and, like, noise. There's something out there.
Penny, all I see is darkness and the crackling of the fire.
Well, should I go investigate? Should I go
No.
check it out?
Not by yourself.
Should we go check it out?
I don't know if that's the best idea. I mean,
You consider this. It begins hopping into view. It appears to be a small bird. As it gets a little closer, it is a small bird that you recognize.
Is that Peaches? Peaches, is that you?
squawk twice if it's you.
Arp!
Peaches! I'm gonna run over and give it some berries out of my bag.
Porum's gonna run over to Ina's tent and shake Ina awake violently.
It is around time for the second watch, so at least this works out.
Ina, wake up, Ina!
Look! Peaches, it's Peaches! Peaches is back!
I can't see in the dark.
Can I scoop Peaches up in my hand?
Yeah, Peaches will I imagine Peaches would, right? Or Ina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Peaches is pretty friendly.
Okay, I'm gonna scoop Peaches up in my hand. I'm gonna run over to Ina. Look! And hold him out. Look, Ina! Look who's back! I never thought we'd see them again. I fed him too for you.
Peaches flitters down to where you are still waking up and sort of rubs their head against your cheek.
I've missed you too, buddy. Where have you been?
Squat!
How'd find us? How'd Peaches find us?
Give me a second, actually, Penny. I need to check something real quick.
In the meantime, Porum's just gonna take a little or conjure a little lavender flower and give it and stick it under Peach's wing.
Excellent. You know, Peaches is a familiar. Are they a fiend?
They are fiendish in nature.
Okay. Sadly, they're a fiend and not a small beast, which means, sadly...
I can't talk to them. They can't talk to me.
Sadly not.
I understand. I'm still gonna talk to Peaches like Peaches can talk to me.
Peaches will just flap their wings and do their best to communicate as a bird.
I'm just gonna nod. Is that right? Okay.
Love it.
It's good to see you humoring somebody else for a change, and Anna's just gonna tuck some feathers, like trim them, not trim them, fucking preen them a little bit. Is it time to wake up? Or am I just being accosted?
Both.
No, it's time.
Yeah, it's time. But we wanted to wake you up with good news too, so that's why I, shook you so violently.
Exactly. We were excited. We figured you'd be excited too. At least for something good to come out of all this yuckiness.
This feels like my familiar, right? Like that connection's there.
Is the feeling familiar?
Oh my god.
I hate so much.
Yeah, give me a perception roll if you would.
Oh god.
Right.
Yo!
Hey,
There definitely is something weird going about.
It's
as
Bollock in
you
disguise.
hold them there. Because as far as the bird's shape goes, this is a different raven. This is not the same raven that your familiar is, but because they are a fiendish spirit, it's as if this fiendish spirit is possessing this other raven, giving it the same attributes, the same sort of reddish coloration to some of its feathers, and the same mannerisms. And feeling with your magic, you can tell this is your familiar. You know, you can put your eyes into it, all of that. But the body is different. The body feels different and looks slightly different. The size is off. Things like that.
What is up with you, little buddy?
Ruffles their feathers a bit. Lead the way.
Lead the way where?
Lead the way.
You got a direction?
Sleep. Lead the way.
Lead the way and sleep. Well, it is my watch, so you're gonna have to wait till I sleep.
He gives a little nod.
No one's come to wake Balthazar up for his watch.
It's true.
The kids are too excited for the raven.
Peaches, do you want to go wake Balthazar? Give him the good old rooster treatment.
Right. Fucking Peaches so fly over to Balthazar, get right up next to their ear, and just fucking. Which probably wakes up Ophelia and Biner for a second as well. Because it's rude as fuck.
Yeah.
But worst for Balthazar.
Could Balthazar, like, snap a hand out to grab to grab Peaches?
I mean, I would assume yes. You could roll me in athletics if you like. RJ, you should be able to see Peach's sheet. It's under Ophelia's for some reason. Oh, it's because it's alphabetical.
Because it's alphabetical.
Yeah.
Peaches is mine.
Oh
Hey.
no.
Smacks the hand.
What am I rolling
Well,
against that?
Acrobatics or athletics, but probably want to do acrobatics considering.
He'll beat it, yeah.
Yeah.
Smacks a hand out and just snaps awake. Bleary-eyed, doesn't look like he slept all that well. He's just staring at the bird, like, what? And looks over his shoulder. You got your bird back.
My bird found me. Without summoning. And I'm just gonna frown at that.
So they're just gonna stare at the bird, yeah, no. It's still technically the same day, right, Derek? We haven't gotten a full night's rest.
Nope, not yet.
Okay, cool. his eyes are gonna glow silver. He's just gonna, because he's paranoid and doesn't trust. It's fine,
Absolutely.
right? No one dead?
There's a little bit of undead in there.
Hmm. You know, in the
Undead?
bird?
Yeah, in the bird. A little bit.
He's staring at this bird very intently. You're sure this is your Peaches?
Sure as my magic is, I can still connect to him. He's a little off.
Well, he is giving off a sense of the undead.
Well, I died, so maybe that's the reason.
Don't. Does it look like the bird is like a reanimated cadaver? Balthazar's been around enough dead bodies. Would he know? Would he see?
Would you like to do a medical examination?
Yes.
Yeah, you can roll
If
medicine.
Ina would let him.
Absolutely. If Ina would let you.
If you don't dissect him, yeah.
I'm not going to cut into your bird.
I don't think you could take it. Who just kind of pop.
More than likely. 5. Ooh.
Huh?
Mm.
This bird, I mean, pretty good facsimile of life. You think, maybe. You're sleepy a little bit. You're a little groggy. You're not at your best self.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You see in the corner, it looks like Patty is falling asleep on Porum's shoulder. Porum, are you staying up for a little bit longer to chat with the two, or are you dozing off as well?
Formal BRB.
Oh, did Porum BRB? Alright. And Porum is also asleep. We'll
Porum
move
is knocked
these.
out.
We'll move these two over here. Please feel free to continue your conversation. I'm just gonna move you over to the watch tent, and both roll a perception for me while you converse.
Alright.
Oh yeah, I can't see in the dark. Let's go.
Don't we have...
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Hey! Excellent! We did good!
Y'all are
Hell
really
yeah.
good. But I'll let you know what happens when it happens. For now, feel free to just keep conversing. Is Balthazar you inspecting? At the very least, there's no like obvious open gashes or anything like that to indicate death, even with the 5 medicine, sadly.
Yeah. He has Peaches in his hands and is just like staring contest with the bird, doesn't trust it immediately.
Yeah, it just looks at you,
Right.
turns to Ina, I imagine, just looks back. Like, why?
Mm.
Well, if you trust that it is your bird, I'll simply fall back on your judgment for it, and he'll put Peaches back onto Ina's shoulder.
I'm curious. Do I light up when you do your undead look?
I use my eyes.
Yeah.
Does Ina light up? Did Ina light up?
Ina does not light up, I don't think. Let me make sure I read it all right. Any undead is protected by divination magic. Oh, that's an interesting note. Yeah. Ina seems to be alive.
Yeah. Balthazar will just shake his head at Ina. You don't light up. Not, well, it is less lighting up and more you don't feel like an undead to me when I use the eyes. You were properly resurrected. After all, those who go through such things don't come out as an undead. They're simply returned to life.
I'm curious, just because Peaches lights up. Or feels undead, I guess to say.
That is something to wonder. If he is your familiar, perhaps the thing you usually summon for your familiar has taken over a dead bird. That's my assumption, though call it paranoid, but I don't quite trust it.
It's fair. He is definitely smaller than he was, but I can still access his eyes, and Ina's just gonna pull in a far off stare to just kind of hop around his Peaches for a second and then pull back.
As you do that, you do just hear the faintest whisper in your ear.
Oh god.
Just come back to me.
Does it sound familiar?
It does not.
I'm just gonna blink confused and tilt their head at Peaches.
Show you the way.
Are you alright? You seem surprised. Did something happen?
Heard a voice when I was in Peach's head. When he got here, he said, "Show me the way," and then sleep. So I think I have to go somewhere, or something wants. I don't know. It doesn't sound familiar.
That seems suspicious, at the very least.
How are you doing? You're more off with Ophelia for quite a bit.
This is we'll glance over at Ina before looking away again. His right hand sort of wandering up to the little trinket that's now hanging off of his belt. She wanted to know some things, I suppose. I think, proof of trust? I'm not sure. But she wanted to know what happened to me in the mists. Something about the anger that was brought up when she became a werewolf seemed to irritate her somewhat.
I mean, there's a lot of anger tilted towards her and her reaction to becoming a werewolf. I noticed Penny hasn't been the nicest about it. So something happened with you guys, I take it.
Penny had a worse reaction to it, let's say. When she was a werewolf, she seemed to be a lot ruder. Feels like it's downplaying it. She was quite harsh with her words, and it seemed to have affected Penny badly.
Penny's young, and there's one thing I've learned about older people, that being said, myself being older, is we tend to go for things we notice about someone's character. whether it be harmful or not, especially if it's something that I guess we notice subconsciously. I'm sure it'll clear itself up. I hope it'll clear itself up. We're under, I don't know where we are, and it would not be beneficial for us to fall apart now.
No, not if we're not in a place like this, and not if we're the only ones who are familiar with each other to an extent. It'll only make whatever journey we must make a lot harder.
Barnard did point out earlier, and he has merit. I argued the point that some people need privacy regardless. Probably not best to build trust with, I guess to say, sneaking off to discuss stuff. And I argued that people need privacy for certain subjects or certain things, especially with what I'm pretty sure everyone had a horrible time in the mist, except Penny. Penny got to see her pop. She was quite pleased with that.
Well, it seems like we all had a rough time of it in the mists. And I understand it probably didn't look quite well that we had snuck off to have a private conversation, but Balthazar's kind of looking middle distance. It's not something I want to speak of immediately, and not towards the group. The only reason why I spoke privately to Ophelia is because she asked it, and because I knew for a fact I would not react well to having to explain all of that to her. I want to keep at least some measure of face towards the group.
I understand that. I wasn't really forthcoming about what I saw either. Whenever I was asked by Porum, or Penny, or Viner. Well, Ophelia got a little bit, but just not. It's something I'm still processing.
Balthazar will nod. I understand that much. I don't think that mist and the vision we ended up having, it's brought up quite a few things I did not wish to think of, and brought up a possibility. He stops and kind of chokes on his words. Not possibility, but, well, information I don't quite know how to handle. I know what to do with it, but, well...
Is that where your hat went?
He nods.
It's understandable. Can I ask you some advice?
Advice?
I guess opinion, if anything. I have, as you know, as everyone knows, I have a slight attachment to me in the form of Black Shadow.
There it is,
He
flickering
nods.
in the fire.
Can I feel, I guess if I take a quick second to feel if Black's in the woods like us past the gate, or is he still kind of just
He
fucked off?
is very far away. Miles and miles and miles. but he isn't in the
Yes.
mist.
Out there somewhere. Great.
Mm-hmm. Doing his own thing.
Terrifying. Really.
He's no longer in the mist, but he's not close to us. I guess the opinion asking is, do you think he could be as useful as he can be like this? I mean, I can gather information. It's him pre this, so it's not necessarily new information that he's gathering now, but an insight to the past. You're
Okay.
sorry,
Go
go
on.
ahead.
No. Go on.
You fall, I believe you called her the Lady of Shadows. Is there something, if I keeping on with him, is that gonna affect my shadow?
That is a question, Derek. Do I roll religion on this?
Yeah, you
or-
can roll a religion.
Okay, let's go. Bloop. Okay, good.
From what you can tell, Ina has two shadows. They aren't the same, so it's not like they're melding together necessarily.
Mhm.
It shouldn't, unless, there's some outside force that would cause them to meld or combine.
Okay. He's gonna glance over at the shadow and tilt his head at it. The two of you are two separate entities. Unless there is some sort of caster or some sort of something powerful enough that's capable of melding shadows into one, I think you will remain separate from his influence. At least he won't affect you in more subtle and passive ways. It won't start to change you at all. It shouldn't, at least. You'll still be you. And I don't think that'll change unless you allow it to.
There's a look of relief that crosses their face a bit, and they go into their backpack and just kind of pull out their book to make a note and just kind of freeze, looking at how much thinner it is. I didn't pick them up. I forgot to pick them up. I guess you didn't. Not the only thing that lost something in the mist.
What did you lose? Balthazar is glancing at the book and then at Aina.
I kept in here some of the most important letters that I took down over the years. And like I said, my mist vision wasn't great, and I shook them out to prove a point in anger, and I didn't pick them up.
Sorry about that. They sound very important to you.
They were letters I wrote to my husband over the years to try to come to terms. A therapy of some sort. My dad recommended it to me when I took the death so harshly. And as you can tell, I saw him in the mist, and there was another inside of him. And it was Balak's lover. And I did something stupid. And I almost did something worse. And I'm glad I didn't. But it did shine a light on how far I would go for something.
What would that something be?
I had... And you see, like, a look of... It kind of looks like shame and remorse, but it's guilt at omitting something. Look.
Ooh.
I had the brief thought of finding Balak's lover's soul. I think it was her soul. To me. But I settled for telling her how he was.
Mm. And there's a bit of conflict on Balthazar's expression upon hearing that. It's likely best you didn't do that, but it
Was
sounds like
upset. That's why I thought about it. Because I ripped my husband's face off. There's just a weird look on his face, like he still can't believe he did it.
mm,
His scar wasn't correct, and it looked like it was coming up, and I just kind of pulled. And there she was. Floating in there.
horror is seeping back into his expression even more. It's like that. I don't know how you were able to keep your calm after seeing such a thing.
There's the biggest look of shame, and it is pure shame on Ina's face. I didn't.
No, I figured not in the moment, but I mean now. I'm sorry you had to go through something like that. That is. It makes it seem as though the thing what I experienced in the mist was far more of a cakewalk.
I don't think
He's
anybody facing their things was a cakewalk. And Ina's just gonna pat Balthazar on the knee. Except maybe Penny. Penny had the cakewalk, I'll be real. I came upon Penny after getting out of the mist. I mean, first was the goat, and then it was Penny.
You mentioned something about a goat.
It was a weird goat. Talked, but he did guide me to Penny, and by that point, you know, it's Penny. Can't. I didn't want to be a shell for Penny. She's too young.
Sorry, nods. Yeah. Honestly, I felt the same way when I came across Porum. They're still far too young and need some sense of stability, I think. Yeah, at the mention of the goat, though, Balthazar kind of gets a distant sort of stare again. I came across something else in the mist. I still am not sure what to make of it. But it was... It seemed like some sort of sacred place. Large rock surrounding what seemed to be the body of a child. There were crows flying around. They started whispering things to me. I still can't make heads or tails of what exactly that was.
At this moment, Peaches turns to look up at you, Balthazar, and just says,
Oh no.
Mother.
Balthazar's staring at Peaches and looks to Aina. And looks to Peaches.
I didn't teach him that. Who is Mother Peaches?
Mother.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Is Peaches just still looking straight at Balthazar?
Nope.
Or-
They turned to look at Aina when they answered the second time for Mother.
Okay.
Oh, actually, they would say something else.
Uh-oh.
Mother is many.
That's slightly ominous.
Does the phrasing sound like it could be similar to something Balthazar has heard of or read? Like, that seems like it's a specific sort of mantra.
I won't make you roll because sadly, this is information that would not exist outside of the place y'all
Oh,
are currently in.
interesting. Okay.
That
Good to
that
know.
is what I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
'Cause they have to learn to summon familiars, so they learn a bit about like fiendish natures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Balthazar's still gonna stare at Peaches. That... Mother is many. That sounds like it's a mantra of something, of some sort.
You said there were crows where you came upon the mist and the body. Well, what were the crows speaking at all?
They spoke. Maybe it'll become clearer in the morning. My memory isn't the best at the moment, but they were speaking of something. And he has a hand sort of pressed to his temple as he thinks. I'm not sure. They seem to be either calling for something or trying to say something to me. That was immediately after my vision in the mists. I don't think I was in the right headspace to really process what they were saying.
That's It's more than fair. Perhaps we should ask the others what they also saw in the mist. I can't remember, it's outside a game, if I was told by Forum about the witch or not. I remember they
think
made
so.
mention of it.
Ophelia mentioned something about a knight and him speaking of some sort of beast or a man they tried to kill.
The Beast of the Castle.
Something like that, yes.
The goat
She
made
said-
mention of that.
Well, she said his name was Strahd von... I forget the last name. Oh, no.
Zarovich.
I was right. I was guessing.
Strahd von Zarovich. I
Penny
believe
met
she
him.
said.
Right before
Yes.
I met up with Penny, Penny mentioned a man called Strahd, blah, 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 blah. She didn't know his last name. And I was verbally deducing, because, blah. Just trying to put anything together to get my mind off of what happened. I deduced that he was probably the beast of the castle, and he was very insistent on trying to get into Penny's home, but she wouldn't let him. So, and then he turned into a bat in front of her. I'm like, Penny's probably a vampire. But it's nice to have some verbal confirmation across the board at this point now. Something to grasp onto that is tangible information.
Hate.
At the mention of vampire, Balthazar kind of squeezes, like, the hand he has around the trinket kind of squeezes a little bit, that you hear the little bell on it, like, give a little jingle before it's muffled.
Hate.
Right, vampire.
Peaches. Like the name Strahd? I'm choking.
Hate.
And you're still having that reaction to vampire, like in the catacombs.
Balthazar sort of snaps out of this little state he was in and glances at Aina and looks down his hand before he releases the trinket and lets it jingle as he shakes his hand out. Probably left imprints on his palm. I don't have the best sort of feelings towards vampires.
I mean, they're a vampire that we actually talk to, so I can't really compare them to anything like I could use Balthazar or Bach. Biner and Ophelia as an example for werewolves, that they're still people, but you're having a very adverse reaction. And I have a feeling if I say vampires are people in a sense, you might hit me.
Won't hit you. I'm sure there are certain vampires who could be considered more like people, but he glances over to where Ophelia is and just gives a low sigh. My partner, he was the one I'd met in the mist. A vampire was the thing that killed him. And turned him, and is now using his body to parade around like a meat suit. And Balthazar looks like he's trying very hard not to just break again.
I was just gonna reach out and grasp Balthazar's hand and just kind of pats it. You don't have to talk about it. Stuff like that's hard, and I'm not great words or stories. You don't need to keep reliving the moment at this time. You already, from what you probably to reveal to Ophelia earlier, are already out of your emotional depth at this time. You don't need to keep dipping into that well.
Jesus Christ.
Excuse you?
Excuse me?
Y'all just keep talking. It's fine.
Scare. Big scare. Balthazar will sigh deeply and flip his hand over to give Ines a little squeeze and thanks. Likely not. Saying it once was already hard enough. Maybe saying it more times would make it easier, but I thought I'd already grieved and mourned enough. I hadn't realized that last bit until my lady came to me during the vision and made it known. And he's not looking at Aina, but that guilt is back in his eyes again.
It's alright. You can't blame yourself for something that happened in the past, whether you could do something or were too terrified to, or you were following orders. It's decisions made in the heat of the moment are the hardest to live with.
Probably right, but doesn't change the results of it. Balthazar's gonna go quiet for a moment and lets that sink in.
As that sinks in, two of you start to notice something. You begin to notice Biner and Ophelia are shifting uncomfortably in their sleep. We're going to find out why they're shifting uncomfortably in their sleep after a 10-minute break. So we'll come back at 24, and I'll see y'all at the end. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Weird Ventures. This is Derek, and our party was having their second watch of the night. It was just about to wrap up, but then our two fellows on watch, Balthazar and Einar, are noticing the two resident werewolves who were scheduled for the third watch have started moving uncomfortably in their sleep, as if they've been having bad dreams. So we're going to rewind a bit while Einar and Balthazar were having a very touching conversation to figure out just what has been going on in their heads. And so to see how that goes, I'm going to roll D2 to see who we're going to delve into their mind first. Alright. We're going to start off with Ophelia. So Ophelia, as you fell deeper into slumber after the sound of a raven perfectly mimicking a rooster, where is your mind drifting off to, Ophelia?
I think my mind would drift off to me, for lack of a better word, just sort of floating in water. Like nothing is around me, and I'm just sitting there, being moved by currents.
Because you sent me a message indicating as such.
I don't know.
Is there something else that you are doing as you do this? Or are you choosing not to do that and I should skip you?
Um, no, I am, I guess, just lost in my thoughts of the dream, reaching out to anything.
Anything or something specific?
I guess something specific.
Okay. What does Ophelia reach out towards?
She would reach out towards, I guess, in the dream of laying in water, even like even in like the middle of the ocean or like lake or sea or whatever, she could still see Zudin's star,
Okay.
and she would still reach out towards it.
Right. Reaching out towards Zudin. And, you know, is there a message that you reach out with?
Yeah, I think she'd probably reach out with, why me? Not in like a oh woe is me type of way, but more curious.
Okay. Roll me a religion, then.
Yay.
Yeah, as you do that, instead of hearing any voice reminiscent of Zudin in your mind, you begin seeing the star shift. And I'll need you two to make me a wisdom save.
Hooray.
Uh-huh. Fun stuff. Well, that is surprisingly better. Because you don't, so, yeah. As opposed to hearing Zudin's voice, that green star shifts to become a full moon in the sky above you. And you just hear that voice in your head once more, though you feel as if you can speak back to it now, as it says, "Let me out."
No, I will do no such thing.
You weak. You can't protect them. Need my strength. They need my strength.
They definitely do not need your strength. I am enough.
And you feel them attempting to force their way into your psyche, but you are able to fend them off. What does that feel like? What does that look like? How would that affect the dream that you're in?
Okay, cool. So like in the dream, I guess like shot from like like above her looking down, it would almost appear like a shadowy vortex full like in the shape of like a wolf's maw would like appear beneath her, attempting to eat her, like just swallow her whole.
Mhm.
Um and just as it does, even though she doesn't have the spell, it would just be sort of like a barrier or a shield, would just kind of crash, like the wolf's maw would just crash against it.
Absolutely. And yeah, you are valiantly able to sort of fend these feelings off. You aren't having to worry about becoming a werewolf or anything like that this night, but needless to say, the effort exerted is causing you to sleep a little bit restlessly. And we're going to hop over to Biner. So, Biner, as you sleep, where would Biner's mind be drifting off to?
It would probably be back to the plains, kind of where he grew up, in the hills and the tall grasses, and he would probably be just kind of sit more kind of laying in the grass, kind of staring up at the sky, looking at the night sky, and basically reading off all the names of the stars he knows as he sees them.
Yeah. And it's very relaxing, but a scent overtakes you that distracts from this after a certain point. A delicious smell that you can feel sort of taking your senses, and eventually you sort of lean up and look to see what it is, and you see bodies. People with big open wounds, long since passed, but the meat on their bones seems very appetizing, and maybe it was Ina's story, but something about it seems so very right to you. And you feel the urge overcome you to partake in this banquet before you, to sink your teeth in and experience tastes you haven't tasted before, as blood runs from your lips and your tusks. You feel at peace, but somewhere deep in the back of your psyche, you're still you, still experiencing this horror of something else having taken over your mind. You two are not actually transforming into a werewolf, but you are having a very bad nightmare about it. And that will take us back to our two friends who aren't sure if the two of you are becoming werewolves or not. They just see you moving around restlessly in your sleep. So, Balthazar and Ina, what would you do?
I'll wake Biner if you wake Ophelia.
I think
Anna's already just moving towards Biner's
He-
tent, just like already going.
Balthazar's
I'm
gonna
gonna
reach
stick
out
my
and
arm
grab
in his mouth.
Yeah, no, but Balthazar's grabbing, like, snapping a hand out to grab Ina by the hood. How about you wake Ophelia? I'll go to Biner.
No offense, Balthazar, especially with our conversation, you looked like you're about to fall over. I at least know Ophelia isn't strong enough to probably push you over. It'll be fine.
You mean like how Biner is fully capable of picking you up and tossing you away?
We both know he can't toss.
You'll at least make the attempt.
I'll be fine.
Mm,
And Ina's gonna pat Balthazar's elbow and just kind of guide him closer to Ophelia's tent. Just like, don't look like you can take on Biner. At least I have some. Some HP to me? Not phrased like that, but I have more HP than you.
At the very least, do what you did to me. I think that would be safer.
What I did to you.
He glances over at Peaches.
Ah. I don't have anything to resummon Peaches. I don't. No offense, I don't want to risk not being able to get Peaches again for a bit. Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. What's the worst that could happen? And Ina's just gonna duck into Biner's tent.
Balthazar has hands over his face and just the concern gif. It's just that. He he's gonna wait outside Ophelia's tent just to keep an ear out on Ina before he goes to wake her up.
Ina's just gonna shake on Biner's arm a bit. Biner, hey, look up. Biner.
He'll finally register something's near him, and he will basically shoot up, not stand up, but just kind of like sit up, but with such quickness and use his hands just from a reaction, just basically tries to shove Ina away. And Ina would see quickly his first facial reaction is of anger / rage, hunger, I guess you could say. And he'll, as he sits up and he sees this, he'll extend his arms and kind of push Ina back and just, yell kind of like, leave me. I don't want to hurt anymore. And then he'll just kind of push.
I'll stand my ground. I'll plant my feet. My itty bitty feet. Now, Viner. No need to be dramatic.
And then he'll kind of come back to his senses and look at Ina, and then kind of focus that it's Ina, and he'll see a look of terror, remorse, sadness, shamefulness across his face, and he'll be like, sorry, Ina. I don't know what came over me. Is it time already?
About you were thrashing in your sleep, so I thought best to wake you than leave you in that state. Are you all right?
I hope it was a dream. Everyone's all right, right? Everyone's okay in the camp?
As far as I know, no one died.
Then it was just a dream. I didn't have control. I found myself eating other flesh and meats, and I was like trapped in the back of my mind, and something else had control. It was doing horrific things.
I was just gonna tilt their head. But you're here now.
He'll quickly kind of look at the rest of him and just make sure he's not transformed or anything. And
To be
yeah,
fun.
I guess I am. Well, I might as well get up and start the watch.
Yes, I suppose so. I don't want Balthazar to worry that you bit me, and I'm just gonna flip open the tent flap and just step out.
Yeah, as y'all are
He's
stepping
stuck
out,
inside.
I was about to say, Balthazar, how are you waking Ophelia?
Uh, he's just gonna kneel next to her head and like give her a light shake on the shoulder. Ophelia, it's your turn.
My turn.
He
All right.
he's gonna keep an eye on her. How does she look?
Probably just tired. Not as well rested as she probably could be.
Hmm.
But as for the moment, I guess she's trying to just keep her composure.
Okay. Just gonna tilt his head at her. All right. You were tossing in your sleep.
It was just a bad dream, Balthazar. I think I've already told you, but it just feels like I'm fighting with myself. It tried to swallow me in my dream.
Nod. And give her shoulder a squeeze.
Thank you.
Keep fighting it. I am fairly sure I know of a way that can get rid of the curse, but I don't think I'm powerful enough to be able to do it quite yet.
You would do that for me?
Sora tilts his head at her, like a little bit of confusion. Why wouldn't I?
It's tough to explain. Just not... I don't know. Just forget I mentioned it, but also thank you. I look forward to the day when I don't have to constantly try to keep my guard up.
You nod. It's something you have to fight with. It is something that simply needs to be rid of. I think you'll be fine.
I hope so. Well, anyways, I shouldn't keep you up any longer. You can go ahead and go to sleep. I'll go take my watch.
Right. As Ophelia's heading out, Balthazar will also leave, but it just sticks his head out of the tent and double checks that Aina isn't dead.
Yeah. Ida and Biner are coming out okay, but as all of you come out, you do notice that the sound of rain and thunder do seem to have died down a bit. It's starting to look a little bit brighter as you look up and you see, perhaps reassuringly, a massive crescent moon in the sky above you. The shadow that obscures most of it, almost like the iris of some great eye looking down on you.
Here's a question, Derek. Is it waxing or a waning crescent?
It's hard to tell.
Would it be hard to tell?
It's a little hard to tell.
I mean,
I guess we don't know which way the moon faces.
I think that's more of I did not think that far ahead thing.
It doesn't.
It's not
Is it?
facing a way that most moons would face.
We're looking at the backside of the moon. Interesting.
Yeah.
The butt of the moon.
We're being mooned by the moon.
The moon strikes again.
No. Doing just a little mathy roll here to see what it is with my physical dice. And it does appear that it is, in fact, a waning moon.
Okay. Good to know. So we have time. Hopefully.
Depends if the moon moves like a normal moon.
Yeah.
That is true. It could be a randomized moon.
The moon I feel like being today is. Oh, at least it's clearing up.
I will mention, it is also a lot bigger than it should be. So, fun stuff about that.
Moon big?
Yes, it's very
Big moon.
big.
Moon big.
It is close and oppressive.
Ooh.
And like I said, the shadow isn't quite right because it's a crescent, but the crescent almost touches itself on the other side. The shadow looks like an iris of some giant eye looking down at y'all.
The night cat stares at all. Alright. Seeing as everything's fine, Balthazar will look into the tent to get some sleep.
And I will as well, and is just gonna to mumble to Peaches, so to sleep. I go. And that's
Sleep.
what. Okay. Don't steer me wrong, Peaches. No, I guess a serious look on their face.
Sleep. Do you fall asleep?
You will fall asleep.
Excellent. Then Biner and Ophelia, can you both roll me a perception for your watch?
Is it listening perception or just sight perception?
Both. So, roll with the benefits you would get from one or the other.
Hell yeah.
Because I do believe you both have some real good senses.
That's good.
Ooh.
Ooh.
The smells of the forest around you sort of permeating your senses, as do the sounds of the trees rustling and the winds. How are the two of you spending your watch?
Ophelia would pull out her dragon chest, and ask Biner if we had like the ever glowing torch,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd look at him and be like, "Back in the Citadel, you said that you were fascinated by the game, but you never played. I can teach you."
That would be wonderful. It would take my mind off of things.
I completely agree. And yeah, so she would just try to be teaching Biner how to play dragon chess.
Absolutely. Would y'all like to play a whole game or just sort of converse while you're teaching?
I guess we could just converse while we're teaching.
Okay.
Or
Yep,
while
I'm
I'm
good with that.
Sounds good.
Listen, since Aina beat me at this, I'm pretty sure this game is either really easy or I'm really terrible at it.
Well, they do say beginner's luck.
That's true, I do have his chessboard. Well, I guess it's my
You
chessboard right
willingly.
now.
I gave that to you willingly, you bitch.
Go to sleep.
You don't hear anything, go to sleep.
I know you wanted to take your mind off of things, but you're doing okay? Everyone is pretty tense.
Well, well, first, I had this weird ass dream. Let me tell you about this first, and then I'll tell you this other thing. I was sitting in the grass, and all of a sudden Porum was there, and he opened his mouth and sounded like a chicken or a rooster.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, what the hell? And then I kind of startled awake and I fell asleep. What was that? Why would I hear it? Why would I even think he would speak chicken?
I was also having a similar dream. A chef was preparing us a wonderful salmon meal, and usually they offer some sort of prayer over the bounty of the sea. And at the same time, it sounded like a rooster. And I just was like, this is just not normal. It's very weird. But it's also a dream.
Well, I figured that too once I got kind of awakened, but more I guess serious thing. Obviously I know what happened to you and you know what happened to me. And I'm sure everyone has expressed their concerns to you or of what happened, but and please don't mention this to others, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to control it. The dream I had after that one felt too real, and I don't know. I mean, I'm a proud Luxodon, but age is catching up to me, and you got to have good strength to fight with this thing. Do you hear a voice too when you
Yeah,
in your head?
I do. It's constantly... It almost reminds me of my parents, actually. Um, just asking to be let out, telling me that I'm weak. But
Your parents would tell you you're weak?
not so much like that. But they would never publicly state that. But I don't know. Silence is telling. We can just say that I've never really amounted to what they wanted for me.
My voice is different.
What is your
Even
voice
though
like?
it wants control, it almost wants to create a new tribe, family. I mean, it craves to kill and eat, but at the same time, it it feels like it wants to help fill a void I have. And I'm kind of that's where my struggle becomes. How are you handling it?
Well, I did have a dream tonight, and I was able to hold it off, thankfully, but... So I guess just fine. It doesn't feel fine, but... I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it.
But do you feel you can control yours?
I feel like it's going to be something that we both have to take day by day. Although, I will say, when Balthazar woke me up, he did state that he might know a way to remove it. He just can't yet.
I know Porum was talking about, well, he had ways too when we were sitting around the campfire, but his was just pulling heads off. So,
I'd really prefer if it didn't resort to that.
well, I do too, but you know my position.
I know... I know you're old, but I wish that you didn't talk like that and just resign yourself to being put down. I could definitely say if things were to come to that, I would go out fighting.
Well, I'm sure I'll be fighting on the way down, but I'm not. I'm not. I wouldn't give in easily. But what I'm trying to get across to everyone is that if, and hopefully it never does, but if it ever comes to that point, to not have regret, I guess is the word I'm looking for, or shame or guilt of having to do it. It's just more of, I don't want them to be put in a situation where they allow me to harm one of you because they hesitated, or harm others that are innocent because they couldn't or refused to do it. I don't want to be put down. I would love to live another 100 years at least, but I don't want the hesitation there. That's what I'm trying to get across to people. If it truly comes to that point, that has to be the worst feeling for anybody, that they allow someone to live and then find out that that person's in more pain or doing more harm to others, and they could have done something about it. I don't want that to be a guilt to somebody forever.
Listen, Viner. I know it's easy to say it. It's another thing to be in that moment. And I don't think anybody here would hesitate. But it doesn't mean that they wouldn't have any guilt or regret about putting you down. If it had to come to that.
Well, let's hope it doesn't.
Right. Just
But if there's any tricks you have that it's helping you hold it back, I would gladly be open to it.
I don't think I have any tricks right now. Part of me just feels like I'm barely keeping everything together. It's actually why I really wanted to play some chess.
Yeah, on that, you said I can move this piece here. Is that correct?
You're supposed to move this other piece in this sort of direction, and she'll just kind of like go over, just like, which ways the pieces can move again. I know you said that you had watched Kings or Royalty play this, but hopefully playing with a doctor will suffice.
Oh, yes. I mean, they, being there doesn't mean I was getting the opportunity to really study it or anything. I mean, when you're an advisor to them, sometimes you got other things going on while they're playing and you're just catching glances. So even though some I do call friends, I've never got to sit down and enjoy it with company like you.
Thank you. She like really took that to heart, and just it feels like some weight is just sagged off of her shoulders as she kind of just gets more relaxed into teaching you the game.
Speaking of which, Viner, can you give me an insight roll at disadvantage?
Disadvantage?
Yes. Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
Knew that was coming there.
Yeah. At some point during the game, one of the pieces gets lost. and nobody's sure where it went.
Oh
I'm sure it's stuck between my ass cheeks.
We'll find it
Okay.
later.
Oh man.
But while you're searching for it, with that high perception you got, Biner, the clouds have finally cleared enough for you to see the night sky more clearly, and the stars above look exactly like they do on your star map, the new one.
He'll pull out the new star map and do that comparison and show Ophelia and says that this map appears to be for this place. That's not expected.
Is that why? Sorry. So that's the one that you found, correct?
That's correct. In the tomb with the troll.
Man, that thing was disgusting. So does that mean you can navigate us? Or is it just that you can at least tell where, like, how does that work?
So typically, you're right. I would be able to navigate us with the stars. But right now, since I don't know the land too much, I don't have a cross reference kind of thing. So I think we need to find maybe a village,
They might have
or
a
a
map.
town or something, temple that maybe I could align it to, and that would maybe help us navigate through this land.
At the very least, it will make sure that you don't get lost or go around in circles.
Okay. Hey, you. Yeah, I remember when we were together, when we found each other in the mist, you were looking at Zuden Star. Did, is that the star that shows up on this map? Or is it
Why,
a
yes,
different one?
it is. It's this one right here, and he'll point, and then he'll point it out and said it's up there in the sky.
As you pointed out, you do realize something that you didn't realize last time. Look at this map, and Zuden appears to be part of a constellation with two other stars. Sort of forms a bit of a line similar to Orion's belt.
And they appear on my map too.
They do.
Okay. Do I see any stars that I saw in the mist that don't align to the map at all?
No, all of the stars here seem to align perfectly, from what you can tell.
Well, that's odd. I was expecting to see new stars that weren't on the map yet.
Why would you expect to see new?
He lets send out a sigh, and well, again, it was the mist, so I don't know. I assume it's true, but I saw my mentor,
That's right.
and she ascended to the stars, and she said all of the tribe had come to this mist, and they've been trying to get out forever. And over time, they've all ascended to the stars. And while I was in the mist, I saw them in the sky, but they don't appear to be there now. So now I'm not sure what to think.
Well, we have new stars. So it's possible that it's at least partially true?
Maybe. How would the star map make the map before the... Oh, I'm going to have to ponder this one for a while.
Alright, I wish I could help you, but
Well, Aina knows about constellations and stuff. Maybe I'll discuss it with him.
right.
I think that'd be good for me. I need someone to bounce my thoughts off of with the stars.
Unfortunately, I can't help you with that, so I understand.
But one thing that you do get, Ophelia, I forgot to mention earlier, while you're sort of observing Biner getting lost in the star map, is a neat thing that I, as a game master, learned about Dragon Chess is when you play Dragon Chess with somebody, you can learn something about them, about the way they think, and about who they are. So, Ophelia, you got a 22 on your insight. So, Biner, if there's anything that you think Ophelia would have gleaned just from trying to teach you, even if you didn't learn too well the first time around, yeah, would you say there's like any insights to just the way Biner thinks about things? Stuff like that Ophelia might have picked up on that isn't immediately obvious.
So most of this time he's been impatient and always in a hurry, basically trying to push people along. But she noticed that when he was being taught, he was deep in thought and trying to analyze and take his time, and it gives the impression that there's kind of something driving him to be quick and in a hurry at times. But most of the time when he's his true self, he's really relaxed and basically very observant, and this is basically a pitcher waiting for water to be poured into him, kind of with knowledge. You can see the glimmer in his eyes of learning from others, and he could sit she would get the impression that he would sit there all day with her just playing this game until he mastered it, because that would be what would be his focus. He'd be in no hurry whatsoever.
And yeah, as that realization is dawning on you, as Biner's poring over his star map, you find it, Biner. You find the missing piece. It's buried halfway in mud. You might have sat on it a little bit.
Thank God I'm not somewhere else. Might be brown, but at least it's the right brown.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
uh,
Nasty.
D&D.
That's right.
Fine.
Ophelia, this is a pleasure. I thank you for taking time and just teaching me this. And obviously I'm still no good at it, but we need to find time where we can just sit and do this more, and I'd love to learn about your culture some more, and what's it like to be under the sea.
Yeah, I'd be glad to tell you anything I can. But I do have a question for you.
Yes.
I just noticed you took in everything with such extreme patience, but throughout the Citadel and a little bit in the mist, you're sorry, you're kind of pushy. Just trying to get us to move and go as fast as we can. What? Can I ask why? You don't. I've done enough interrogating of people. You don't have to say anything.
Um, let's save that for another day, if you don't mind.
I can respect that, Biner.
Right. But as this small awkward moment washes over you, both of you do catch the scent of something on the wind before sound quickly following it. It's the scent of death, something dead moving through the forest, the sound of some trees cracking and falling over. Your perception rules are high enough where you can tell it's not coming towards the camp, but it is at the very least near enough to where y'all can hear it.
I take it you hear that?
Yeah, and the smell is...
It's awful.
Yeah, is this near the end of our shift?
So that's the thing. It feels like it should be, but it is still very, very dark in the sky. There's no sign of a dawn curling over the horizon.
Should we wake the others?
I would think so, but it should be dawn unless we're... I mean, there's a moon and stars, so maybe we like are in the wrong like time zone or something, and we slept during day when it stormed and we're awake at night now. Maybe we got to re-get our bearings. I'm not sure, but I mean, we probably shouldn't stay here for too long, especially if there's something out there that smells of death and is nearby. We probably should get the rest up and either go see what that is or work our way around it.
All right, make some kind of plan.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure Penny would love to stab another dead thing.
Yeah,
She's gotten really good at that.
I'll let you handle waking Penny.
Do make sure, everybody, that you have taken a long rest. Because you all have gotten one. It is the next day, even if the sun is not up.
Nothing comes from the sleep for Ina.
Nope. No. Sorry, because I did miss something with Penny a while back. Oh yeah, with Peaches. Nope. No strange dreams unless you decided that you wanted Ina to have a strange dream, in which case, feel free.
No, I was just curious because Peaches was like sleep.
Yep. Peaches just wanted you to get a good night's rest. Peaches is a good bird like that.
Uh-huh.
Definitely don't wake up being choked out by a bird.
It's fair. I deserve that.
Yeah, but yeah, who's gonna wake up who?
I'll wake up Penny. and Porum, I guess, are in the same tent.
Yeah.
I'll wake up Ina first and then Balthazar.
Let's start off with Biner waking up Orm and Penny, because I think Miggs might have to go soon.
E.
All right, so he'll kind of stick his head in and see that Penny's on the right side, so he'll lean down and be like, hey, Penny, it's time to get up and to venture some more.
And Penny's just gonna kind of shake her head no, rub her, like, get her head a little more comfortable on Porum's shoulder, and just continue to drool.
And he'll kind of turn to Porum and be like, he'll lean down and be like, wake up, Ina's turned into a werewolf. Hurry, get out there. Stop her. Stop him.
My God.
Porum will just wake up, be like, and just look at Biner.
I must have
Roll.
accidentally bit Ina. I didn't mean to do it. And
Oh my god.
Jesus.
going after Balthazar. Hurry, get out there.
And as
my
Porum
gosh.
jumps up, Penny falls and hits the floor and
Aw.
wakes up. What the hell are you guys doing? I'm still tired. What's
Time to get up and have some breakfast.
But it looks so dark out still. Where's the sun?
I think the storm was daytime, and I think we're in a different
And what do you
thing.
say to Porum? Why Porum jump up like that? Thank you for my crown. It's so pretty.
I love it.
There's a lot going on right now.
What's going on? What'd I miss?
Biner said that he bit Ina?
Biner, did you bite somebody?
He put his hand in, and I must have accidentally nibbled or something when we were playing around trying to convince the person, just go, Pearl, just pull out your bow and just fire as soon as you get out there.
Oh my god.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Porum just
Biner, I think that's a little harsh. And Penny's gonna stomp out of the tent and go find Ina.
Porum just pinches the bridge of his nose, lets out a grunt, rolls his eyes, and just walks out. And then, while he leaves, will just say, Biner, just be careful tomorrow night you don't end up on a spit.
Jeez. Might be kind of gamey.
Well, at least I got him awake.
And
Ina!
yeah,
Ina!
we're gonna hop over
Time to
to
die.
we're gonna hop over to Ophelia waking Ina up first.
Yeah, she'll just kneel down and just sort of like, kind of like, brush his shoulder, just be like, hey, time to get up.
Why?
It's morning, I guess.
It is dark. I can not see light through. That means it is still dark.
She will do the light cantrip on her fingertip, but just like kind of poke it on your forehead.
Why?
It's time to get up. We need to get ready for the day. Or whatever. I'm gonna go wake up Balthazar.
I was just
And-
gonna flop back down onto their
Excellent.
bedroll.
You walk right past Penny, going to Ina on your way over. So yeah, Penny, we'll jump back to you going to wake up Ina now.
Just gonna go over and Ina!
God. Yes, honey.
Biner said he bit you. Did he bite you?
Not that I know of. I'm just gonna dig their head further into the pillow.
And Penny's gonna sigh loudly, stomp her foot, turn around, and stomp back out the tent. Biner! Biner!
What?
You didn't bite Ina. Ina's fine. Why'd you lie to us?
I didn't lie to you, Penny.
Yeah, you did. You told us you bit Ina.
No, I told Forum I bit Ina.
But I was in the room, so you told us. And then he jumped up and I fell over and startled away. I'm not happy.
Sorry, Penny.
Say sorry to Forum.
Sorry, Forum.
Now let's make some breakfast. Oh, wait. We're missing someone. Where's Balthazar?
Yeah. Ophelia, how you waking up, Balthazar?
Same deal. Like I said, we'll just drop to a knee, kind of like, push on his shoulder. Hey, morning. It's time to get up.
Balthazar will blink blearily and glance over at Ophelia, and then outside the tent where he hears Penny just yelling.
Hell yeah.
Is it morning? Why is it still dark? And he's gonna sit up and rub his face. His eyes are a little wet, but he wipes them away.
Would I have been able to? Is it something that I could have seen?
Do you have dark vision?
I do.
Oh, then yes.
She kind of looks a little uncomfortable. We'll just not pry. Well, I don't know as to why it's morning, or why it's still dark out, I mean. But our time for watch is definitely past. So, we need to get our things, make a plan for the day. Have some breakfast.
Move on. Yeah. Alright.
I'll leave you... Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll leave you to get ready.
Thanks.
And just as you leave, Balthazar, to get ready, I'm sure Penny is going to waltz right up to him, yeah?
Is she?
She's gonna go right up to Balthazar.
She will find him sitting up and brushing through his hair with a comb. Morning,
Well,
Penny.
you seem all relaxed this morning. I was startled awake. Biner said he bit Ina.
Why did he say that?
I don't know. He said he was trying to wake us up, but he lied, and I don't like that lie.
Maybe he was trying to make light of the situation. I don't know.
I don't think it was funny.
It probably wasn't. Are you alright? I'm sure that was a bit of a scare, and as he's saying this, he's gonna put the comb into his mouth and tie off his hair with his ribbon.
I was sleeping so well, and then I just hit the ground because I got startled awake, and I'm just not happy about that. Otherwise, I'm okay. Are you okay?
As well as I could be, and would you... He sort of hesitates before he shakes his head. Do you want me to redo your hair for you?
Sure, would you? And make sure you put my pretty yellow rose crown back on my head perfectly. Forum made that for me. Isn't that nice?
It is, yes. I'll do you one better. I'll make sure to braid it into your hair.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. At least someone's doing something nice for me this morning. And she glared.
Jesus.
God. Ugh.
Balthazar just kind of sighs, but he's gonna pat the space in front of him for Penny to sit down. And he'll undo her hair and brush it through thoroughly before putting it up into her usual space buns and braiding the roses into her hair.
I feel better. Thank you.
You're welcome, and you look a lot better. He's gonna shoo her off as he follows her out.
All right. Should we get something? Should we make breakfast? Should we figure out what for the day?
I think that's the idea. Is Peaches just flying around? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, Peaches is harassing Ophelia the most.
I didn't want to do this, and she's going to, yeah, that's what I thought.
I will say, since everybody else is stepping out, if anyone else would like to roll a perception to also maybe hear the sounds in the distance, you may.
Is it still like dark or is it lighter?
The moon is quite bright. Everything is dimly lit.
Ooh.
With
Hey.
the clouds out of the way. It is a very vibrant moon at the very least. But yeah, Aina and Balthazar, you are hearing, distant enough. You are hearing the sounds of, some trees being maybe knocked over.
Is that in the direction Biner was pointing at the night before?
No, it is southeast, opposite direction.
Okay, good. He's just gonna stare over at that direction and glance around to see who else noticed.
They aren't coming to camp.
I should hope not.
They smell like the death.
The dead or the death?
The
The
dead. Sorry. I was gonna say they smell like death, but that messed up the sentence.
Who's not coming where? What smells like dead?
Seems like there's something off towards the southwest.
We're not going that way, right?
No, I think Biner pointed us northward. Yes?
Northwest. Yes, it's the opposite direction, but I don't know. Should we check it out?
Possibly. My bird wanted me to follow them, but I don't know what direction they wanted to go.
Peaches.
Well, ask it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Spiner. Peaches, what way did you want to go?
Peaches would sort of point their beak northward. So Biner, the star is to the northwest. Peaches point to the north. And then to the southeast is the cracking noises. And the smell.
Well, we have three choices.
I say we shouldn't get involved in anything until we can actually figure out where we are.
It's true, and heading both the direction Peaches and the star is mostly in the same direction. If we just head north-ish, we can make a decision later down.
I'm good with that.
No objections?
None for me.
Very nice.
Always use Peaches to scout ahead as well. If Biner, you don't mind carrying me, please don't drop me.
Nope. I won't try to talk to
Like a to-go snack for you. And there's a joking manner. Metta's joke.
Just hold
Probably
me in
fell a
your
little
mouth,
flat.
Biner.
Yeah, probably fell a little flat.
Mm.
You want to ride on my shoulders? Do you want to just be
Yeah, I'll ride on your shoulders.
arms?
Shoulders should be fine. That way you still have access to hitting things with your quarterstaff.
Sounds good.
Ophelia, do you have my chessboard?
You gave it to me, so it's my chessboard.
Yes, but now I have an overview with Peaches, so it's more of a strategical thing.
Here you go, your majesty, your glorious chessboard at your command. And she bows and curtsies with the flourish, handing you the chessboard. I'm sorry, my peasant hands cannot simply reach the height at which you stand.
You do realize I'm the furthest thing from the whatever, and I'm just gonna snatch it.
I shall take my leave, your grace.
See that you do. Oh, ew.
God damn it.
But, yes. Safe to say y'all get on the road with Peaches leading the way.
Yep.
Yup.
Alright. Lead the way will be exactly what Peaches does. Flying up ahead of you, never too far away to where you can't keep up. Going to activate a new map
Ooh.
Ooh.
as y'all begin your way deeper into Barovia.
Oh my god. It's a fucking Enochian symbol for supernatural.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just call me out as a fucking fan nerd right there for noticing.
Nerd.
But this will be where we end today's session, since we don't have a Miguel. On the road can be dangerous. So, we're gonna hop right into Stars and Wishes. And I'll start us off with Miguel's wishes, because before Miguel had to leave, Miguel was very lovely and left us with some. So, Miguel's stars were yay RP. Loved RPing with Penny and the campfire talks, plus Penny's scolding of Biner. Wishes more Penny scolding of Biner. Funniest thing ever. Then we're going to go up and have RJ. RJ, any stars or wishes for today?
My stars for today were everyone's RP. It was glorious, lovely. My wishes for next week are going to be getting a move on.
Yeah. Delving deeper. Now we're gonna hop up to Corey. Corey, what are your stars and wishes for today?
Stars and wishes are also just like all of the RP. Everybody's RP is really great.
Hell
And it's a
yeah.
ton of fun to listen to. The wishes is longer sessions, Derek.
Miguel left,
Derek.
and I could kill all of you without them, so...
Derek!
No.
It would free up my Saturdays. Just kidding.
Wow. Wow. Shame. Shame. You best be ready for me to throw some shade right back when I get to my stars and wishes.
Oh boy.
We're gonna go down to Jennifer. Jennifer, any stars or wishes for you?
Would be the RP. Biner story about riding a lizard.
Hell
just
yeah.
the imagery of that. I'm still really digging the background effects, the campfire, and all of that stuff.
Thank you.
Wishes that I don't know, just get moving.
Yes.
Just get moving along.
There's going to be a lot more moving next week. That I can assure you. But that'll bring us to Chris. Chris, any stars or wishes for you?
Same thing. The role play. I liked us kind of sitting around and hearing Ina's how her society kind of started.
In society, yeah.
There.
It is.
Yes.
And did I say her? Yeah, please, I'm sorry, RJ. But yeah, it's all the role playing's great, and wishes, yeah, just like everyone else, looking for the next combat, and struggles through this area.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I gotta say, I really loved getting to get a bit more role play from Biner and Penny and Porum today. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll bring us to Cosmic. Any stars or wishes from you?
This is a broken record from everyone else, but the RP was great.
Yes.
Getting to hear Penny, Porum, and Biner RP was fantastic. Because it feels like it's been forever since I've heard them talk at length, which was
Yes.
great. I love the sass combos with
Oh, yeah.
with Porum and Penny. I'm in general, I'm just liking all of the like sort of relationship developments coming up in different parts of the group and as a group and the group as a whole. That's been a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Penny and Porum especially, and also it seems like Ophelia and Biner. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Very suspicious about the goddamn bird, but Penny and her whole wake up moment was spectacular. That was hilarious.
Absolutely. I loved it.
Wishes. Give us more, Derek. Let us play the game for longer, Derek.
Miguel left, and
Stop
I'm
having it
being
be
nice.
short, Derek.
I'm being nice to Miguel. Tell Miguel to stay longer. That'll be my wish. My wish is
I
mean,
Miguel will
I
stay
wish
You're
longer.
the one-off, though. Every
I feel
time
like
we end a session, you tell us you'll go longer, and it never goes longer.
I
That
did
is
go
true.
longer
Simply
last
we
time.
try.
I did.
And Delver sessions felt a lot longer, Derek.
Wow. Wow. So yeah. I know. Some of my stars were I'm glad Peaches was able to make a return. I had missed the Peaches.
Wait, free bird though. Free real estate.
Yeah.
Free real
It's a
estate.
free bird.
Bird. Oh.
Free bird. I also have to give a star to RJ just being a big supernatural nerd. Because I didn't know what the fuck that symbol was. I was gonna say that's Druidic. So
No, it's the Enochian. It's like the angel banishing symbol. You just put some blood on it and go boop. Oh, no more angels.
well, too bad it's Druidic in this. I also stars just getting to hear everybody chat a whole lot. And one of my wishes for next week is that if I set up a dream sequence for a certain someone, they do what I ask them to do, or what they told me they were going to do for the dream sequence. Corey!
RJ.
I didn't do it.
Shaking my head.
Give me a dream sequence, Derek. I'll do it.
Well, that's the
More
thing.
drama.
That's the thing. I didn't even come up with this. Corey is like, I want to do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you the chance. Shaking my
panicked.
head, Corey. shaking my head.
Derek gave me a choice, and I was like, I think I'm gonna pick the wrong thing.
Shaking my head.
It's okay, Corey. I had a whole like note set on what I was gonna talk, what Balthazar was gonna talk to Ina about. I never got to the other thing I wanted to talk to.
Okay.
It didn't feel right.
Y'all are gonna be walking through the woods. Maybe you'll get a chance to do it then. But
I can't hear or see right now. I'm just in Peach's vision.
Yeah.
I
true.
can't do much.
That is true. But yeah. It'll be good times next time we get around. It's good stuff. And let's see. I bet Dane has some stars and wishes.
Oh yeah. Dane
She
has a lot.
always does. Ooh, the Penny Sass was beloved, the Balthazar RP, the chess, all of the RP. Balthazar gets double RP. The group.
Balthazar gets double RP.
That's right, because you get to be part of all the RP and the Balthazar RP. And Dane says that the group chemistry is awesome. Many compliments to everyone. So yes, you should all bask in my lovely wife's adoration because she is the most lovely to ever be, and she's been managing our social media presence and helping me do Discord stuff, and just been all around fantastic. So I gotta give her big props for that. But yeah, if you're watching this in the future, whenever we're doing Stars and Wishes, you are more than welcome to add your own into the chat, and I'll read them at the end. Let's see. Were any memes made? I think there was one meme that was made that I will share with everyone. Thank you,
There was only
Corey.
the one.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
today's meme. It is lovely. Look at that. I love it when y'all make memes. It's the fucking best.
Before I
Great.
forget,
Yes.
I just
Oh.
wanted to do my fucking mage armor. Forgot.
Yeah, you
Get that
could,
up for the day.
you could put on your Morden mage armor. That big undead thing probably isn't chasing after you.
No, it's just a morning thing I have to do every day, so I have
That's right. Unless somebody attacks you in the evening. But
No one attacks during the evening. Derek.
definitely not, especially not in a vampire campaign.
Nah.
Oh, never.
But with that, I'm going to go ahead and start closing down the stream. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. I know I said it earlier, but check out our YouTube. Give us those subscribes and those likes, or else my wife will hate me. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.